Ready to dive into this whole BU thing from Bank Islam. I know you're all about exploring new financial tools, especially with side hustles being so hot right now.
Definitely. And you've provided us with a ton of material on it. FAQs, terms and conditions. We've got bufaq.pdf, buu-tdt-i-pds.pdf, buolafar-pds.pdf.
Okay, I get it. We've got a lot to unpack, which is what we're here for, to break down all this BU stuff.
Exactly.
So first things first, BU is really pushing this whole branchless banking idea.
Yeah, branchless is definitely the buzzword.
But is it actually more convenient, or is this just a fancy way of saying app-only banking, which we're already kind of used to?
That's the big question, right? And a lot of these digital banks are popping up. But BU is interesting because it's tied to Bank Islam, but they're also pushing this separate BU QSA savings account.
I see what you mean. It's like they're trying to attract a new type of customer, maybe the younger, tech-savvy crowd.
Possibly, while still holding onto their existing customer base. It's a balancing act for sure.
It definitely makes you wonder who their target audience is. Like, are they specifically going after the side hustle generation? But let's say I'm sold on the idea. I want to try BU out. What's the registration process like?
It's all done through the app. No need to even talk to a human, which, depending on your perspective, could be a good thing or a bad thing. You'll need your phone number, email address.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, pretty standard.
But how secure is all this? That's where I always get a bit hesitant with these digital-only platforms.
Well, they mention the usual security measures, multi-factor authentication, data encryption. They say they don't store your actual account info directly on your device.
Which is good, but
But you're right to be cautious. Security is an ongoing thing. No system is absolutely foolproof.
exactly. Okay, so let's say I'm registered. I'm feeling good about the security. What about actually moving money around? Can I transfer funds between my other accounts and BU seamlessly?
That's where things get a little bit tricky. They've really gone all in on Do It Now, which here in Malaysia is huge. But you can't directly transfer between Bank Islam's Go app and BU, which seems a bit odd.
Wait, really? That's kind of inconvenient,
Mm.
especially if they're part of the same, banking family.
It does seem counterintuitive. Makes you wonder if they're trying to create a completely distinct experience or if there's some technical limitation behind the scenes.
Interesting. Definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, so we've got this branchless setup, separate accounts, and some quirks in how it interacts with its own parent company. What's next on our BU adventure? Let's dive into Do It Now QR. It seems like they're really banking on this whole QR code payment system.
Yeah, it's a huge part of their whole pitch. The idea is pretty straightforward, right? Scan a QR code when you're checking out, money gets taken out of your BU QSA account.
So how is this any different? I mean, QR codes are already everywhere in Malaysia.
Right, good point. I think they're really aiming for that seamless experience within their app, so you're using it for everything, ideally without even having to leave the app.
Okay, that makes sense.
But there is a but. There's that RM250 transaction limit per scan.
Yeah, that does put a bit of a damper on the whole use it for everything idea. Like hitting that limit at the grocery store, not exactly ideal.
Right, not ideal at all. It makes you wonder, is this really a game changer? Or are they just, jumping on the whole QR code trend without really thinking it through?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They also keep mentioning this Scan Me feature that's coming soon. Any idea what that's all about?
It seems like it's more for person-to-person payments. Like, say you're splitting a bill at dinner. You could just have your friend scan a code on your phone and boom, money sent.
Okay, that could be pretty handy. But with all this talk about QR codes, what about security?
Of course, huge priority. The documents mention encryption and all that. They really emphasize being careful about who you're scanning from.
Which, I mean, easier said than done sometimes, right? Like, people are busy, they're in a rush.
Exactly. Are they really going to be triple checking everything before they hit that confirm button? Maybe, maybe not. That's the human element these documents can't really account for.
Very true. Okay, let's shift gears a bit here. Let's talk about BU gigs. This is the part that really piques my interest. They're connecting users to income opportunities right there in the app.
It's an ambitious move, for sure.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, the key thing here is BU is acting as a platform, not as an employer. So they're partnering with other companies to actually offer these big work opportunities.
So it's more like a curated job board then.
Yeah.
It's not like BU is directly hiring you.
Exactly. Think of it as a centralized hub for side hustles, all within their app.
And they're pretty clear that the payments for these gigs go straight into your BU QSA,
Oh, yeah. They're definitely pushing for this whole self-contained ecosystem.
trying to be the one-stop shop for the gig economy.
Right, but is that realistic? I mean, are there even enough gigs available through their platform to make it worthwhile? And what kind of gigs are we even talking about here? Is this for someone who's, just looking for some extra cash on the side? Or are we talking about something that could potentially replace a full-time job?
Yeah, the documents are a bit vague on the specifics,
Yeah.
but it's definitely intriguing. This could be a whole other deep dive on its own.
Oh, absolutely. And it brings up another point, worker rights and protections. If BU is just the platform, what, if any, responsibility do they have toward the gig workers? That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so we've got QR codes, we've got gigs, but what about the more, traditional banking stuff? Savings, investments, all that. We do have some documents on term deposits and something called ALAFAR. Okay, so we've covered QR codes, gigs. Let's talk about the more traditional banking features. We've got some info on term deposits and something called ALAFAR.
Yeah, those are worth looking at. The term deposits, they seem pretty straightforward based on what we're seeing in these documents. BEU-TDT-IPDS.PDF. You deposit a fixed amount, lock it in for a specific period, and earn a predetermined profit rate.
So like a slightly more rewarding savings account.
Exactly. But of course, you are committing to keeping your money untouched for that duration.
Right, makes sense. So let me get this straight. With BU, if I want to do a term deposit for just 1 month, the minimum I can put in is RM1000.
That's what it says here. BEU-TDTIPDS.PDF, yeah. But for 2 months or longer, the minimum drops down to RM500.
Interesting. So the longer you're willing to lock your money away, the lower the barrier to entry.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, right, between accessing your funds and potentially earning more. And of course, being tied to Bank Islam, these term deposits are Sharia compliant.
Right, which is definitely a key factor for a lot of Bank Islam customers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this Al-Afar thing, this is a new one on me. It's described as an investment account, but with a chance of winning prizes. BEU LFR-PDS.PDF. Sounds a little too good to be true.
It does sound a bit more enticing than your average savings account, that's for sure.
So how does it actually work?
Essentially, it's based on this concept of mudaraba, BEU LFR PDS.PDF, which is an Islamic profit-sharing partnership.
Okay, so you're saying it's like we're investing together.
Essentially, yes. You provide the capital, Bank Islam manages it, they make sure it adheres to Sharia principles, and then any profits that are generated, well, you share in those profits.
Okay, so we both benefit if it's successful. But what about the flip side? What if those investments don't perform well?
That's where the risk comes in. If the investments made under Mudaraba don't pan out, you would share in the losses too. BEU LFR-PDS.PDF. However, you are protected from losses that occur due to negligence by the bank.
So it's not just about potentially winning these prizes. There's a whole investment aspect to consider. It's less about a guaranteed return and more about, hey, let's see what we can achieve together, potentially with some added bonuses along the way.
Exactly. And I think that's a key takeaway from all of this. Whether we're talking about the convenience of branchless banking, these QR code payments, the gig work opportunities, or these unique features like Alifar, BU, really requires you to be an informed consumer.
I think that's great advice in general. Don't just take our word for it. Explore the documents, compare it to what you're actually looking for in a financial platform, and decide if BU is the right fit for your goals, your risk appetite.
Exactly. BU might be just what your financial life needs, or maybe it'll lead you to something even better down the line. The exciting thing is this whole world of digital banking is constantly evolving. It's an exciting time to be exploring all the possibilities.
Absolutely. Well, that was quite the deep dive into the world of BU. We covered everything from the ins and outs of branchless banking to the complexities of Islamic finance principles.
It's fascinating, isn't it? BU is not just an app. It reflects where things are heading. Technology, finance, this booming gig economy, it's all interconnected.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
To everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and most importantly, keep that entrepreneurial spirit alive.